from Austin, Texas. So much to dive into. It's baseball season's already started, softball started, basketball is we're in kind of a full mode right now from all sports, winter sports and spring sports. Let's start with basketball because it's an interesting situation with the men's and women's teams. We'll start with the men. Nice little 3-game winning streak now for the squad. 4-game winning streak, yes. So. Yeah. So this is a team that we kind of had some questions. We've scratched our head a little bit about the squad, but it seems like they have found something, and Coach Sean Miller has found something with these guys. What did you make of this past weekend's performance?
I'll be honest, I was surprised that they, maybe not surprised, I figured they had a shot. Now, we've talked about this. I don't think, other than Florida right now, there's that SEC team where you say they can't win this matchup. But I didn't expect them to kind of pull away the way they did and in front of a big crowd and do what they did to win this one by 17 points. So, yeah, 4 straight wins. I was wondering where the wins were going to come early in the season to get to the point where they're in the conversation now. Most of the projections have them off the bubble and in. It could change in a hurry. They've got LSU tomorrow night here and then go to Georgia, but they're more consistent, and I haven't stopped fouling because Missouri shot a ton of free throws, but they were able to weather that storm and take care of the ball. 7 turnovers. That's a pretty low number the way college basketball is played right now.
Yeah, and I was going to ask because it seems like they're starting to get the offense rolling, albeit it took until the second half in the game against Missouri. But is the defense starting to get just a little bit better for Sean Miller, or do we have to worry that he's going to say something crazy again about the defense?
No, it is getting a little bit better, and I think holding Missouri under 70 is pretty good evidence of that on their home floor. They don't, they don't do a lot of things that you need to do defensively that you think of. I mean, Bocatitis is a big guy, but other than that, they don't have those rim protectors. They don't press enough to turn you over a lot and things like that. So it's just kind of, wall up and try to defend every possession. And then the offense is really efficient. And one of the questions today to Sean Miller was unbelievably, this could be his best offensive team. And that just doesn't feel like that. But when you look at the analytics and the efficiency and all that, they're a really good offensive team right now.
Absolutely. When you are struggling offensively, you kind of need a spark, and it feels like Dalen Swain has been that guy for this team so far. What do you make of where he is right now and just the ways that he can help lead this team as they move forward and be kind of that centerpiece along with guys like Bocatitis and other players you've mentioned?
He's just really good.
Yeah.
And he does so many things well. When he hits a 3, you're kind of surprised. Usually a defense will kind of challenge him to shoot it, and he'll pull the trigger. He doesn't create threes, but he can create so much. He's so good in not just the mid-range, but getting to the basket, using both hands, the left, the right, finishing plays. So it's a 3-point opportunity instead of just 2 free throws. And, Sean Miller's talked about he's kind of the old school where you start recruiting them when they're a kid and they look one way. And if they are patient enough to let you develop them, you get to what you see now with a kid that's 6'7", 6'8", pushing 230 pounds, very gifted offensively. I'm not comparing it all, but when Kevin Durant came here in his freshman year, and I used to talk to Rick Barnes about him because he was so gifted offensively, you just didn't see that with freshmen.
Right.
Swain's not a freshman. He's not Kevin Durant, but he's very gifted offensively, meaning there's not just one thing he does or even 2 things he does. Now there have been a couple of games where he's, taken a while, he disappeared and then shown up. But for the most part, one of the most consistent players of any player on any team, I would think, in the nation. And you know what everyone's worried about now? All right, is he too good? Can they keep him for one more year? And it seems like he'll get his chance at the next level if he wants it. We'll see what he's thinking.
Absolutely. They say winning breeds confidence, and this is a confident group after 4 straight wins. Here's Coach Sean Miller.
Winning does breed confidence. I think it breeds confidence in our fans as well. I think I'll go back to what I began with here today is, hoping we have a great environment and a home court advantage, really like is required in February in the SEC tomorrow night against LSU. It's a big game for us. In terms of the confidence, with our team, there's also that fine line between, you start to win and take it for granted. You start to get away from maybe things that got you on the initial win streak. And that is, your process, working hard, trying to get better, feeling like you're cornered, playing with an edge, trying to fix the problems that have plagued you in the past.
Roger, I feel like this 4-game win streak is, and as you mentioned, it seems like it's gotten Texas back in the picture here. There's really only 2 or 3 more games on the schedule where Texas can really make a statement with a win. That being one of those games being Florida here in a couple of games. Are you worried about a little bit of a slip up here because you're going to take on a Georgia team this next weekend that you beat by 20 in a second half dominant performance earlier in the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're not good enough not to be. I think they're worried about it, and I think Texas fans are tomorrow night against LSU. LSU hung right with Tennessee on Saturday until, pretty much the end. And, they got blown out at home earlier in the month as well. But, yeah, I just don't think this Texas team, as we have seen it. Now, Vanderbilt, that was just one of those nights. They got on them early, and they stayed on them and had it fairly easy for a team that to that point hadn't lost the game. They've got to go to College Station. They still have to take on Oklahoma. And as you mentioned, the Florida game here as well, and they're playing as well as anybody in the country. So, they're still, Saturday night, you could be looking this team back on the bubble if they don't stay the course. And that's what Sean Miller's saying. When they're not playing well, you're upset at them because they're not playing well. When they're playing well, you're on edge because you don't want them to think that just because they did what they did Saturday means they're going to do what they do. Coaches are eternal pessimists, in deep, dark places. So I'm sure he's really concerned that they don't come out tomorrow night the way they did at Missouri.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're teeing up my point perfectly put, because last time we had Noah Gross on, one of the big things he said that it was a game that Texas was winning by 1 million on the women's side. And he gets this shot, and then he goes over to Coach Vic Schaefer, and he's just yelling like they're down by 30 points. I think that it's right about the internal pessimism part. However, this women's team bounced back with a nice win.